Love is you. Love is you. Love is you. Love is you. Love is you.
Hello. I am horrible with my YouTube channel, guys. I know. The last time I was here, I don't even remember how many months pregnant I was, but it was a while. She was on the inside, and now she's on the outside. So, everyone, I am pleased to introduce you to my baby girl, Zoe, who is sleeping now. So, I'll show you her a little bit more later when she wakes up. But I just wanted to get on here and just give you guys an update. Where have I been? Obviously, taking care of this girl. So, I want to come on and introduce you to her and also share with you my birth story, which was cray cray. Let's see. My pregnancy was wonderful. I'll just say that I did not have a tough pregnancy. I mean, I had my moments, but for the most part, it was a beautiful pregnancy. In my belly, she was super chill. She is a super chill baby, which I knew she was going to be. Yeah, I had a great pregnancy, and I actually do kind of miss it sometimes, but not as much as I love having her here. I was pregnant for 41 weeks and 4 days, so we went past due our birthday. I went full term and then some, so she had some extra time cooking. And because of that, my she wasn't coming, so I had to schedule what's called an induction, where they will give you medicine to induce labor before you give birth naturally. And throughout my entire pregnancy, I spoke to my doctor about my birth plan and giving birth vaginally, which she said, yeah, I can give birth vaginally. I don't have to worry about a C-section. As far as what we're seeing now, I'm super healthy. She's super healthy. So that is what I was envisioning the whole time. Worst case would be C-section. So, day of my induction, which was on September 9th, which is the day that she was born, September 9th, 2017 at 11:29 p.m. But on that day was my induction. I woke up early in the morning at 3 a.m. in the morning, and I started having contractions. So I was like, oh my God, I don't have to do this induction. If this keeps going, she's going to come naturally. So throughout the entire day, I was feeling contractions, but it wasn't strong enough for me to go to the hospital early, and they weren't close enough for me to go. So I waited and waited. My induction was scheduled for 8 p.m. that night. So I went through the day. My husband's best friend came over. He just wanted to be there in support. So he was there the second half of the day and accompanied us to the hospital. So we get there for my 8 o'clock check-in, and by 8:30 I was in my room. So I had our hospital bags, everything together. I was unpacking, getting everything together. They hooked me up to the machines. They saw those contractions. They were looking good. Everything was all good. 9 o'clock comes, guys. Lord have mercy, 9 o'clock comes. And my doctor, the doctor for the night that was going to deliver her, came in. She went through my medical records and said, you know what, from what I see, I am not comfortable with you going vaginally. We're going to do a C-section. Girls, this devastated the hell out of me. My heart drops. This is the first time that I was starting to feel fear. And throughout the day, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to give birth vaginally. This is going to hurt. This is going to be tough. But I was mentally prepared. But then she tells me I'm getting a C-section. So now I'm like, what? Why? And so let me just backtrack. I've had 2 laparoscopic myomectomies. So these are 2 fibroid surgeries, which you guys know about. The second one that I've talked about in past videos. The first one was in 2010, and that one was for fibroids all on the outside of my uterus that they removed. Laparoscopically is with a robot, and they put 5 incisions in my abdomen, and it was like straw-sized incisions that go in and pull out the fibroids. They cut them up and suck them out. The second surgery was last summer, 2016. That one, I had fibroids that grew in my uterus and filled up my entire cavity. One in particular, fibroid, grew inside and was protruding through the wall out of my uterus. That one, which I knew during surgery was a tough one, but my surgery last year went well, and everything was beautiful. I healed great, according to my doctors. But, and so hence why during my 9-month pregnancy, I asked my my doctor over and over again. This is a brand new doctor. I've moved upstate New York. I moved out of the city. So now I have new doctors, and all of my records were transferred. I made sure everything was transferred to this new gynecologist that I had. And throughout my pregnancy, I asked her, did you look at the stuff? Can I do vaginal? And she finally was like, yes, you can do vaginal. Like, we are looking at vaginal. That's the way it's going to go unless there's any complications. So here I'm thinking she looked at all the records, she looked at all the notes, she looked at all the photos. I'm good. Now fast forward to the night of my induction. I am told I'm getting a C-section because my surgeon from this last summer's surgery noted that it is highly likely that I would have to do a C-section. Vaginal is possible, but highly likely C-section. So she read through the notes and showed me, and basically told me I can't remember exactly what she was saying, but she showed me that, you know what, I'm not comfortable with doing this because if we do it vaginally, we wait to do it vaginally, there's a huge, strong possibility that your uterus will collapse, and that could be a problem. That's also life-threatening and all this other stuff. So me and my husband talked about it, and we're like, okay, we'll just do the C-section. So here we go. I was like, okay, when's the C-section? Here I'm thinking again, okay, maybe tomorrow morning. No, she's like, we'll do it within the hour. And I'm like, what? So yeah, basically I get told this information, and then now I'm like trying to spend like the next hour to get myself prepared for this. I asked everybody to leave the room. I spoke to my husband. I just bawled. And normally I'm not a crier, and I try and take things, I try to be strong about stuff, but this was like too much, guys. This was a lot. So here we go. They get me prepped, take me in the OR. At this point, my husband's not with me because they're preparing me with a type of epidural that they had to give me shots up and down both sides of my spine. So I'm getting stabbed with a needle multiple times up and down my spine. So first of all, I hate needles. Second of all, coupled with the fact that now I'm getting a C-section, this is like completely different. I did not want this surgery. Now I'm getting stuck with this needle. So here I am sitting on the edge of the bed thing that they're about to do the C-section on, and an attendant is there and she's holding my hand. I start bawling. The guy that's giving me the injection is telling me to sit up straight, relax my muscles. He has to do this. It was taking extra long because I was so tense, so afraid, so scared, and I'm starting to get emotional now, so I hope I don't cry on here. But it was really hard. So the attendant was holding my hand, and then all of a sudden I pulled her toward me, and I was sobbing in her neck. And I didn't know this lady, but I didn't care. My husband wasn't there. I'm sobbing in her neck. I am crying for so many different reasons. I'm afraid for my baby. I'm afraid for myself. I'm pissed that this is not what I planned. So it took forever for them to get this. And so finally the surgeon that's doing my surgery, the one that told me you're going to get a C-section, by the way, bedside manner sucked ass. I mean, she came in the room when she first told me, and she's like, robotic. Well, I looked at your notes, and you're going to get a C-section, and I'm not comfortable with doing anything else. This is what you're going to do. So talk to your husband, figure out what you're going to do. And, that's kind of like her attitude. So she comes into the room while I'm getting these injections, and she sees me crying, and so she moves the attendant out the way, and then she's holding me now. She's like, I need you to relax. Okay, it's not that bad. Relax, blah, blah, blah. If you don't do this, this is not going to numb you and it's going to be worse during a C-section, blah, blah. So she's just still, again, talking to me crazy. Not even like, and this is another woman here. I don't know if she's got kids or not, but damn, like, do better. You got to do better with a pregnant woman who's obviously in distress here. So finally, after so many tries, and I'm sure I got more, they stabbed me way more than they needed to because I was just in such distress. It was finally over. So they lay me down and prepare the room and everything. And then my husband comes in. So now they're like poking at me saying, can you feel that? Can you feel this? Like, this is the point where they're trying to see if I'm numb. And I didn't know this, but girls who haven't had children, when you have a C-section, you are numbed, right? But you still can feel the jerking. You could feel the organs being moved around. You can still feel pressure and movement, but it's not pain. So you don't feel pain, but you still feel the movement. So here we are on the table. My husband's holding my hand. I'm still in distress because he sees and knows how I'm feeling without me having to tell him. So now at this point, they've cut me open and they see my past surgeries and stuff. They're making comments, all this commentary. I don't remember what they were saying because the whole time I'm just like moaning, like, oh my God. Oh, I feel pressure. I'm just like getting really nervous, and I probably was being a little extra, but it was a lot. And here's the doctor, the surgeon. Do you feel pain? And I say no. She's like, then it's okay. Stop making noise. Like, that's literally how she's talking to me, y'all. I'm like, damn. But I was like, F her. I don't really give a damn what she's saying. I'm going to continue to feel and say whatever happened. Whatever I feel like doing, I'm going to do it. F you, okay? So I'm continuing to be like, at 11:29, they pull my baby girl out, and I hear her crying immediately. So now I'm getting even more emotional because I hear that. And for a split second, I'm just like, oh my God, my baby. I can't believe my baby is here. My husband is happy. And in my birth plan, I wanted to do the whole, even if I had a C-section, even if it came down to it, I still wanted to do skin to skin and delayed cord cutting. None of that happened because, I'll tell you in a second, but it didn't happen. Literally, they took out my baby, put her over the little, they put up the fabric or whatever over you to divide the room so you don't see the surgery. They basically put her over it. It's like, there's your baby, and then takes her away. So I didn't get to hold my baby. My husband doesn't get to hold my baby. Guys, I didn't hold my baby until 5 hours later. Okay? Side note, 5 hours later. So, but here's why. So they take her out, and then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. I'm starting to lose an extreme amount of blood. The doctors are getting crazy. I'm still moaning and groaning, and the doctors are like, can somebody just put this girl to sleep? Literally, they said, can somebody just put this girl to sleep? I was like, what? But I kept going. But it did get crazy. So, exactly what the doctor thought, my uterus collapsed. I lost a lot of blood. They called in 4 units of blood for a blood transfusion. They kicked my husband out of the room. And he had to wait outside the room for hours while they did this surgery to reconstruct my uterus and give me a blood transfusion. And it got crazy, y'all. It did get crazy. So at the end of the day, this doctor did her job, and she knew what she was doing, even though her bedside manner was shit. She did follow her instincts on that matter, which I absolutely appreciate. The other part of this is that my baby girl was late, 41 weeks and 4 days. And I swear, I promise you, it is by God's grace that she did not come here, and she knew that she should not come here vaginally. She was like, I'm going to hold out because, Mom, I know something is going to happen, so I'm not going to come out naturally. And I really honestly think that this baby girl was saving me, because if I would have gone through a vaginal delivery, it was very, very high risk. Although throughout my pregnancy, I was not a high risk pregnancy. But at the last moments, I guess that's what happened. And so I had surgery on my uterus, and they sewed me back up. And then 5 hours later, 4 hours later, I woke up. Oh, they put me to sleep. I forgot to say. They kicked my husband out. They put me to sleep. They did the surgery. And 4 hours later, I woke up in the recovery room. They finally took me to my room, and then they brought my baby girl to me. And I finally got to hold her and see her up close. I wear glasses, and at the time I had no glasses on, obviously, so I couldn't even see. I just saw like a little light-skinned thing dangling in the air, but I didn't know. I couldn't see her face. I couldn't see anything. So I had no idea what she looked like. So 5 hours later, I finally got to hold her, and it was like the most beautiful, beautiful thing in the world. She's the most beautiful girl to me in the world. Her name is Zoe, and she is great. I love her. I mean, I went through what I feel like was hell. It was hard, but I got through it, and I'm not doing it again. I really am not. I know people say, oh, right after birth, you're so close to it. You're going to say you're not going to have another kid, but a year, 2 years down the line, you'll change your mind. I'm not that person. I am very decisive, and I'm here to tell you right now, I'm done. And on top of that, my doctor, after I went back for my checkup after birth, 2 weeks after, I was told that I cannot go full term if I get pregnant. I have to wait at least a year for my uterus to heal and before I can safely be pregnant. Then I won't be able to go full term, and I cannot do a VBAC, which is vaginal birth. I will have to do a C-section. So if I were to get pregnant, that would be the case. But you guys, I am about to get, right now I just started birth control pills, and this a couple of days ago. And I am thinking of doing the IUD. So I'm going to do some more research, and I think that's what I'm going to do. But this girl ain't carrying no more babies. Sorry. I'm going to be a mama of an only child. But yeah, that's my story, my birth story. It was a tough story. It was a scary story, but I got through it. When I came home, postpartum, has been okay. I have been emotional at times because of exhaustion. I still had some stuff to deal with. I had my legs got super duper swollen. So this is another thing I didn't know, that after you give birth, sometimes women's legs get swollen because all of the fluid, the extra fluid and stuff in your body kind of like moves downward. So both my legs and feet were so swollen that I couldn't even put my feet in any of my shoes. My skin was so tight that I thought that if I even walked, it would just explode on me. So it was scary. And that lasted for about a week and a half. I had to keep my legs elevated. And breastfeeding has been a struggle for the both of us. We had the struggle since we were in the hospital to home. I had a lactation nurse come to my home and help me, a lactation nurse in the hospital. But I'm sorry to say I am a woman that we did breastfeeding the first few weeks, but she wasn't really interested in it. She really just wanted the bottle. I started pumping exclusively. That became too much with everything else that I have to do around my home. Babies are a lot, so pumping is a huge, huge commitment. So kudos to any woman breastfeeding or exclusively breast pumping. That is a lot of time. You're literally pumping your breast or feeding the baby nonstop in a 24-hour period, and it's a lot. And I just couldn't do it. I got my house to deal with. I got to try and get some sleep. Babies have poop explosions on the regular, so I'm washing sheets, clothes, like had explosions on me, so I'm doing laundry constantly. Not to mention husbands, your significant others want their attention too. Cooking, cleaning, everything. So, and like I said, I moved out of the city, so, it's just me and my husband up here. So I got stuff to do, and it's a lot. All right, so I ain't breastfeeding. So if any haters are out there, keep your shit to yourself because I don't want to hear it. Some of us, it just don't work. You know, I was thinking, and it was part of my plan that breastfeeding is a beautiful thing and I just want to do it. And it's all I want to do. I want to give my baby the best. And this is all pregnancy, pre-baby. I'm going to give a vaginal birth and everything's going to be perfect. I bought all this stuff. So when I got home that I was okay, I bought the Poise adult diaper things. They're like extra thick pads, but they're kind of like panties. I had those. I had extra thick pads. I had aloe vera and hazel. What is it? Witch hazel. And I was ready to make the frozen pads to put in the freezer. So if you got hemorrhoids, I had like a little hemorrhoid tub thing. I had everything ready to prepare. I bought breast milk bags, tons of nipple pads, tons of nursing bras, everything to make sure that I was ready and that all I wanted was to have that beautiful experience of breastfeeding. But once I had my baby, once I realized that we weren't really feeling breastfeeding, and you know what? If she wanted to go with it, I would have held out. But she didn't. So we were just like, all right, peace out, breastfeeding. We're going to stick with formula. So she's a formula-fed baby. It's totally fine. She's excelling with all of her development. And she's a healthy baby. She's gaining weight, and she's wonderful. Let me turn her around. Let me see. She's awake now. Oh, you got a little smile on your face. So this is Zoe, everybody. My beautiful baby girl, Zoe. And she is 6 weeks and 4 days old. And she's wonderful. Mommy and Daddy love her. We're enjoying her. Our favorite time together is story time. Currently, we're reading through the whole Peter Rabbit series. And it's funny because Peter Rabbit is very interesting. It is funny to go back to read these old stories, fairy tales, nursery rhymes, and really look at the words and really see that, damn, it's kind of brutal. Peter Rabbit's dad, I don't know if any of you know the story of Peter Rabbit. Look it up, but Peter Rabbit's dad was baked into a pie. I never knew that because I watched a cartoon throughout my pregnancy. I've watched a whole bunch of different cartoons that I wanted her to watch. And I watched the Peter Rabbit cartoons, and they never said anything about his dad being eaten by the farmer. Then there's another one about the squirrel Nutkin whose tail was ripped off. So they get a little brutal in these stories. It's very interesting. Me and my husband are reading them now just so that we have something to read to her and talk to her. But it's good that we're kind of like pre-screening everything now so that when she's old enough to understand, we kind of know what we want to read and not want to read and actually have an idea of how to explain certain things in these stories. We were reading, again, Peter Rabbit the other night, and there were some words we didn't even know because it's an old book written in 1903, and it's British. And there's words in there that were like, I don't know that word. So we're looking up words. We're like, we need to get a thesaurus up in here in her room. So it's funny. But anyways, we're loving Parenthood. This is a long video, so I'm going to end it here. But I just want to say I love Parenthood. I love my Zoe. It is hard. It is exhausting. But I wouldn't change it for the world. My birth story sucked, but I wouldn't change it for the world. She's here, and I am just so happy with her. And it's just beautiful. Things didn't turn out the way I planned. I'm a planner. I like things to go my way. I like to control things. And I've learned that, you know what? In parenthood, you just can't control it all. So, hard lesson to learn, but it is what it is, y'all. All right, so that's it for now. This is my recap of several months. That's why this video is extra long. But I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to ask me any questions. This is a one take, so I'm just going to put this up. So if things don't make sense, my bad. Just ask me questions in down below. And until next time, guys, peace. Wait. Say bye, Zoe. Bye, guys.